right, hey there. Sam with you here. It's Friday, December 21st. We're middle of the day. So as it's a Friday, we're looking at crypto assets here. First up, I've got buy requests amongst our members, right? I'll remind you every day that's where these come from. So this is Stellar. This is a 4-hour tether to the tether as I'm here on Binance. A couple interesting things here. So I think the count that plays best here, so we can see this very clear 5-wave impulse moving down. I'm looking for ways to resolve this count with this being a low here, so that this 5 down is ending something rather than beginning something, although we can't turn a blind eye to that. But there is a count here that supports that idea, that we have a significant low here. So I'm working on this 5 here, very clear, and then we correct that. Now I've got this in a WXY, so thus connecting to ABC. So here's the first ABC. Right, so kind of the exact opposite of what follows. So we get a very long A wave here. You know, it's choppy, but there's a 3. So you'd have to go A, B, C into the B wave here, and then you've got an A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the C. So it's there. Then here it's a little ugly. So now we have a very short A wave, A, B, C into the B, and then we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, very clear 5 up to give us the corrective structure for the X, and the depth of the retracement here would lead me to think that this is a solid contender for an X wave here. But then to finish, we get the A wave here. Then we get an A, B, C, very clear note here. We get the nice pitchfork. Well, actually, you get the corner pocket is right here. You actually ultimately get up and get just through the median line far enough, so it would appear that what they were after here was to get a fill at the golden zone here. So you look at it and you go, well, how do you know it's an algorithm? It's not what happened here. It's what follows, right? So we go straight to target and get a little reaction. Then it has legs to keep going. But here's the tell, right? So that's straight algo play. So you have this nice, just a great example of the kind of confluence that I always try and teach you guys to look for here. So you got, I mean, you could look at it as well. What happened last time we got up here? You got a median line, you got a golden zone, and you got a 3-wave structure correcting something. So, you know, that's a trade you want to look for. That's just the kind of thing we like to see. And so and then the risk reward is so good, because if you're taking that trade on the 618 as it pops into the golden zone, your stop's just on the other side of the 65. Right, so the risk reward is so good there, and it goes, well, it's not a straight line, but down. Here's the retracement, so you can see it goes in just a perfect Elliott context. Well, look how good this is. Here's the 1, A, B, C into the 2. Down we go for the 3, A, B, C into the 4. Down we go for the 5. It's just, I mean, right out of a textbook. I can't script them any better than that. So this 5 coming down, I'm looking for ways that we can resolve down here. So if it's either beginning something or finishing something. So if this is finishing, so it needs to be finishing a C wave. In this case, it would be the C wave that would complete a Y wave of the WXY that we just went through. So if it's completing that 5, then we're looking for something impulsive to come off the low. So to get that, now it's a little squirrely down here. So I'm going to go to the, let's go to the 30-minute and take a look at it here. So the initial, so here's the low we're working up here. Now let me reset here and we'll zoom out a little bit. Okay, so let's have that. And then let's zoom up here so we can look at this, because this is kind of tricky in here. So at first glance, you might go, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's not quite right. So look, let me get these up here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 1, A, B, C into the 2. That's pretty solid, right? Hard to miss that. So from this low, here's the 1, here's the 2. Now what are we looking for? Here's our high probability zone, right? Here's the highest probability zone for a 3. Now we do get a little wick through it, but considering we follow that with this nice ABC, I'm much more inclined to think that that's my 3rd. Let me get that off here. That this is my 3rd. Now we'd look for something technical here if we're retracing the length of the 3rd. Right, we're so here prime spot. We don't threaten the 1. We come right between the 38 and the 50. Right, we get a little front run on the 50. It would appear, and then we go, look how we finish here with this just beautiful 5-wave structure. So I look at that and go, no, I don't. Right, we're done. Something finished there. That 5 is done. So It's just standard ops. Anytime we finish a 5 wave, we're looking for the next 50. So from the low, here we've got a very clear impulsive structure that's completed. So let me get right on that pivot. So we come down here. Well, we're a little shy. We don't quite make the 50. Look, right, we split the Vegas wave. Right, look here, we split the Vegas wave. Split the Vegas wave. Don't forget about that Vegas wave. It's great. It's a great reference for where you are in the trend. So coming back and then bouncing out of it. So it looks to me like a little ABC comes down here. All we've done is complete 1, 2 of the larger degree. Well, this gets problematic because if this were 1, 2, we'd be looking for that third. But remember, it's the fractal nature of Elliott Wave that we're not going to go just straight up to the 3. We're going to need an impulsive wave structure here to get up to get the 3, assuming we're going there. So if we're going to have an impulse in the third, we've got to start it with a 1 wave. We know a 1 wave can be a diagonal, and that's exactly what it looks like we're getting here. So if this 1, 2 is in and is correctly labeled here, then this is just the 1 wave of the third wave. So here, looking like this, and this is, we're going to be threatening this and we'll see if it holds. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 potentially there. So let's get that up a degree. And let's go, we'll go to, we'll do it in, let's do it in blue here, right? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Potentially now, we've got a contender here for our leading diagonal. Now, it looks like ABC, ABC. We got to go ABC into the 4. Now we're getting a pretty stiff retracement here. So just on this, just as we did here, completed 5, we're assuming here that this is the start of our 1 wave here. So right now as we approach, look what we're doing here. So we're coming right up to the golden zone. Note the Vegas wave, the lips of the Vegas wave right there. So you've got a reasonable spot here to be looking for entry. Now, understand, right, we know that a 2 wave can go deeper, and we do have this little shelf of structure here. So note this here, this little shelf here that we ran into. That was the initial resistance once we got through it. Now, potentially that could be here as support. So you got to make a decision here. This is the ideal spot. Well, oh, I hate that bit of trading view. Okay, so let me try again. So here's the ideal spot. So we'd have, if we're going to get it from this, if this is our 1, and we're just, right, so the problem with it is we're looking a little bit, it looks to me like that's just the A wave going in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 looks like we're gonna have an A here. This is going to be A. We're going to look for a B and then a C. Now let me change that color here. So this is why we don't have the ideal scenario here. So I would not, as I look at it here, so if you're a buyer here, you're trading from the A into the B on the anticipation the C will follow. So you got to be realistic about what you're after there. It looks much less likely to me like we could just blast off here. Right now, anything's possible, but if we open this up here, it sure looks like we've got a good 5 wave coming down. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's not, we'd have to dig down even lower than a 15-minute, but you can see the basic shape of it is there. So we do it this way. 1, 2, looks like 3, 4, 5. All right, so yeah, at first glance, it looks like an ABC in there. We don't threaten the 1, but if I went down to a lower time frame, I'm going to bet you we can get 5 out of that. So there's likely what's going in here is just the A wave. So I'm going to take that off. So likely this is our A. So what we're anticipating now is a little 3 wave B. So we need this. This would help clarify as to where we are, and then we come down for the C. Now C, we could still hold the golden zone. We could have a double bottom here. We could hold some of the structure down here. It's just too soon to tell. So right now, if you've not participated in any of this, I think it's too soon. Let me get that tightened up a little bit. I think it's too soon to be looking to be a buyer here. So on the assumption that you're not in and you're looking at this with as potentially a new entry here, I don't think it's there yet, right? So I would wait here on this rather than trying to buy just the golden zone here. If you're thinking like an Elliott trader, or so far we've got the structure's been so good and the Elliott count has been so solid, there's no reason to assume that won't continue. So because I have this nice diagonal into my 1 here, now it's not the prettiest diagonal I've ever seen in that some of the wave relationships are not ideal. So you can note here, if we look at the wave length of the 3, we do come golden zone, but we don't get the target on the 5th. And you know what? Let's just do a quick double check here because I did not check this. How 3 is. Well, we got to check here 1 because I may have that wrong. I might check myself on the fly. Nope, we're good. Okay, so 3 is longer than 1, 5 longer than 3. So we have a nice expanding diagonal, actually, is what we end up with here. So you might look at it like this, and then we get this. All right, so now ideally 5 would come up here, but the criterion we're looking for is that 3 longer than 1, 5 longer than 3, which we do have. So it's not textbook, but still a very valid leading diagonal here. So if we look at it here, all right, so this is still solid. So I would rather see this golden zone hold rather than a deeper A. I think that reduces the probabilities here because if you think about it, if the A is going to come much deeper than this, then if the C is coming down here, we're threatening the low, right? So it's going to necessitate some sort of a double bottom or a truncated C, which these are, you don't want to bet on those. So ideally here we hold, we get the B. Then if the C is going to come down to new lows here, we could still be sustaining this pivot, stay internal here, and we have something that doesn't require us to be leaning into a lower probability shape for that correction. So thus my point is I'd wait, look for the bounce in the bead, but don't worry that you've missed something because the odds are we're not done correcting this move. This is not enough to correct that 5-wave diagonal. I shouldn't say it that way. Anything's possible, but the probabilities are this is not enough yet to correct this move here. So I'd wait. Now, not that you couldn't trade the A into the B, but I just wouldn't be anticipating new highs on the B. Right, so you got a little swing trade there. You could actually, you could turn around and sell the B into the C. Right? I mean, that's certainly a potential there. But first, let's see that the golden zone holds and we get the push into the B, and that we come up here. If we're gonna, so you'd reconstruct it this way. So if we're gonna come down here, let's say we go to the golden zone. Well, you'd want to see that B holding here. This seems like a reasonable spot where we've failed previously. So what we'd be looking for is this to target. Right, see, then you're looking for the big 3. Right, so this would actually be ideal. We'd be coming to the 786, the prior structure. We'd have our completed corrective pattern. Then we can look to be a buyer here, right? And you'd stop underneath the pivot of the 2, as that would invalidate the entire count. Right, so one to be watching here. Good signs here. This is a long-term fave. All right, we love this project, so this one to be keeping an eye on. Right, but not ripe just yet. All right, guys, we've got a couple more to do posting today, so I'll be back. I don't know what we've got. I think I've got EOS to Bitcoin and then Bitcoin itself. All right, guys, back in a little bit.